Hey everybody, so I'm down here in the woods, just below the trailer in an area where we've had activity over the years. I'm just looking around to see if there's any evidence of whatever creatures that could be coming through here. Now, I don't come down to this trail very often, we've had it for years, but I don't actually go down into the boglands that often anymore. And so over time, we have just kind of some build up here that you can see. The area basically in the center of the camera is you can see the trail, and then you can see that there's quite a bit of woody debris that's come down over time. We had a pretty big ice storm last winter. That's probably a lot of it. Um, but then I noticed this one, and it's actually just right down there in the ground. But the way that it's split and hanging on this sapling, just for a minute, I thought, that's kind of like precariously right there. And then I was going to see which one of these trees could it have come from. And that's basically what this video is about. Um, because I think in the human mind, we are always trying to ascribe reasons for everything. Obviously, we're always curious about our environment and what's the forces behind it. Um, and I do think that just as a species, we tend to personalize things as those things are happening, for a reason that's relevant to us and not just random. And so when I looked at this tree, at first, as you can see, it's difficult to tell exactly where it came from. There's so many dead limbs going up there that it really kind of obscures it. But then when I take a look at it, I can see that it doesn't have anything that looks like. Because one of the possibilities is that if something had placed a piece of wood like this up in a tree, that they got it presumably from something else that I had cut, because I do have some piles down here in the woods that I had cut in the past. But I look through it, I don't see any evidence of human-made cuts on there. And so it does look like it's just something natural that came up from above. So then you go down to your suspects, and the way that it is up there, and the type of tree it is, it either came from this conifer or this one. And in order to figure that out, I tried to look through here from all different angles, and again, because you can't just look straight up, it's completely inconclusive. And so then you're like, well, okay, it had to come from one of those. How do I see the top of them? And somehow, like, way back over that way, I was finally able to get it at an angle where I could see that this tree right here, it looks like it has, that it lost its top. That top would have been sticking way up over the rest of the trees, and that the limbs that are at the very top are already trying to form a new crown. But it's you have to really look around in order to figure it out. So that's just kind of a little bit of insight into how I think about this stuff, because I've definitely had instances in the past where there were trees across trails that I couldn't explain exactly how they got there, and that was pretty early on. And so over the course of this project, I've always tried to analyze different things that seem to be happening in the woods and ascribe them to, generally it's going to be wind or ice that are going to bring them down. And in this case, even though it does look kind of cool, stuck on that little sapling like that, and then it is kind of in an area that we've had activity in the past, and it is right next to this trail. I'm 98 certain based on mostly the thickness of it. It really does seem to match the little bit that I could see at the top of this tree. That this is the missing puzzle from the top of that tree. All right. Well, thank you for tuning in.